I think Patagonia creates their own viral campaigns, right? And let's not forget, Shubham, that this brand is by nowhere a convenient, like a fast or
Yeah, it's a
cheap
luxury brand.
It
And
is a
I'll add one
luxury
more
brand.
point to it. They
Yeah.
are so holier than thou that they don't pay for collaborations. They don't pay creators or influencers anything.
Small page of 1.38 million subscribers.
Not bad.
Right?
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
This essentially means that out of 100 people, almost 13 people are ready to buy whatever Eugene is going to show you in the video or is trying to sell you. This is amazing. This is like to see this number in double digits is wonderful.
I could see a lot of Patagonia in her because she speaks a lot about liberty and freedom, gender distribution.
Yeah.
72%
Wow.
of females,
Female.
72%, right, which is quite high. And I love this, Shubham. I think this is where Sorelle really takes the cake for me. US,
Yeah.
Canada, UK. There are only a few brands which can be as self-deprecating, as self-aware, and as focused on activism and turning the planet green as the brand Patagonia. Welcome, folks, to this episode, the second episode of Influencer Matchmaking. If you haven't seen the first one, which was on Stanley, and we featured two amazing creators, Lord EY and Mary Kondo there. But today's focus on this episode of Influencer Matchmaking, where we take one brand and two creators and we battle them out on insightIQ, which is the tool that we exclusively use to look at their journeys. What are their trends and where can they go from here, right? So now, for this episode, we have two creators. The first one, Shubham, how do we describe them? His name is Eugene, go 4x4. And second one is Sorelle, right? She's also a creator
Yeah.
and she's very focused on a bunch of things. But before we speak about these creators, we'll do a deep dive on them and Patagonia, the brand. I want to say hi to a man with a fresh new haircut. Shubham, how's it going?
I hope
Yes.
it's looking good because we are
Oh,
going outdoors
absolutely.
today. Outdoor, we have an outdoors
We are
company,
going
and
outdoors. Today is a very, very outdoorsy episode, although we are indoors. But yes, the episode is going places.
yeah. And I love extreme sports, adventure sports, and Patagonia is a very premium brand when it
It
comes to
is.
outdoor, any activity.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
really exciting. And yeah, matchmaking is fun, man. I mean, people have been doing this for ages, for for different reasons. But yeah,
Sure.
this is fun.
Absolutely. No, I'm super excited because Shubham, the brand that we have in question, right? Like we of course picked Stanley Cups and they were having quite a moment in the sun. I think Patagonia creates their own viral campaigns, right? Like there are people who want to essentially, you know, just be in the limelight because they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not happy with myself, or I did something wrong, or like, I'm very ashamed at what I've done. So I'm wearing green to
I'm
speak about Patagonia, the brand.
I'm very ashamed that I'm so great.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm holier
yeah.
than thou, right?
Holier, I think that's a very good way to describe it. Because of course there has been a lot of, you look at, they've been featured on a bunch of marketing blogs and bunch of campaigns have been featured about, okay, that they're doing away with plastic, they're reusing a lot of things, so second
Yeah.
hand jackets and equipment and even trousers. I think that's all being used a lot, but of course it has faced a lot of criticism, Shubham, that it is a brand which is greenwashing, which is like painting a very positive picture, although its own accounts, although its
Yeah.
own things are a bit sketchy. So that holier than thou attitude is there. And let's not forget, Shubham, that this brand is by nowhere a convenient, like a fast or a
Yeah, it's a
cheap
luxury
brand.
brand.
It
And
is a
I'll add one
luxury
more
brand.
point to it. They
Yeah,
are so holier than thou that they don't pay, for collaborations. They don't pay creators or influencers anything. They'll just give you
exactly.
their stuff and they'll just tell you how great you are, how great we are, and let's do it together. So
Exactly.
no money talks. Yeah.
No money talks. No money talks here. So we read that, of course, in the influencer sort of handbook or the guidelines that they sort of provide, and we found this during research, which very fascinating. I must say that this is a case where you have a brand which is like, okay, you know what, we can't pay you, but you're great. You're a great influencer.
You're pledging
So
1% of your sales
yeah,
to recycling projects and other
yeah,
things, and you're not paying anything to creators. I mean, I did
nothing
not
at all.
find it fascinating. I found it really puzzling. Like,
It is
why? It's a
puzzling.
premium brand. It's a premium brand. First of all, it charges like $200 $300 per a jogger.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. No,
it's
it's
weird.
not it's not for the faint-hearted, this brand, because clearly there's a lot to unpack here, Shubham. So my question now is, who do you want to attack first when it comes to the Inside IQ? So Inside IQ folks, we use Inside IQ. You've been seeing us. We use it weekly to go through that
Yeah.
data to really comb through it and see what their trends are. What their past has been, what the intent is. The intent to buy. I think that's one of my favorite features of Inside IQ. So Shubham, which creator should we pick first, right? Because Go 4x4 is
Uh,
like an ASMR kind, quiet, while
yeah.
Sorelle
Let's
is of
disturb
course.
him. Let's
Let's
disturb
just
him. Let's go to first. Go 4x4
okay.
Eugene.
Folks, we've gotten word to disturb Eugene and his dog. Let's not forget his dog, Shubham,
Oh
because the
yeah.
dog is
Terry, I
quite
guess.
a,
I'm forgetting the
yes,
name if it's not
Ted.
Terry. Yeah.
Ted, yes.
Ted.
Um,
Oh.
yeah, Ted or Teddy, I think it's his name. So let's actually go, folks. We will be watching the Inside IQ of none other than Eugene and his very small page of 1.38 million
Not
subscribers, right?
bad. Yeah.
Not bad at all. Because see, I mean, what I love first right off the bat, Shubham, is his style, right? Like it's very peaceful, right? Like for
Yeah.
someone who loves outdoors, you mentioned that you love outdoors. There is obviously that sense of tranquility and peace and calm that you have when once you're watching his videos, right? Which I really appreciate.
No, but a small correction. I love outdoors in terms of adventure sports. I like,
Okay.
nothing
Okay.
ASMR about it. It's like going full
Okay.
blown crazy.
See, that's the thing about this guy is that he is doing ASMR and he's doing outdoor. It's a crazy melange, and let's
Yeah.
see if Patagonia can pick him up for a brand collab, right? Because I think right now Patagonia is at a stage where, there are a bunch of players who are not so expensive who've made a mark there, right? Like a
Yeah.
Decathlon, right? Decathlon is definitely by far, even if they're not mission driven, right? Even if they don't have lofty shareholder letters, but they are making good bucks. They're making
Yeah.
big bucks. But Patagonia, on the other hand, they are slightly premium. So I think
A
let's see
different
what
league
Go 4 by
altogether.
4
Yeah.
for us. Different league altogether, right? So let's actually have a look at Go 4 by 4 and what they have in store for us. So Shubham, right off
Nice
the bat, what are
numbers.
your thoughts? 9.3K likes, 328 average comments. Engagement rate is
Hmm.
not too high, but what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I mean, for a channel like, Go 4x4, engagement rate is always going to be low because it's
Hmm.
very generic, right? In terms of
Yeah,
scenery, there's a car,
right.
something green is going on.
Yeah,
But these kinds of creators have very dedicated following. People follow
absolutely.
them for, the that you just mentioned, like peace, tranquility. So
Yeah,
everyone's craving it right now. So these numbers are nice. I mean, 459K views per video is it's good, man.
it's quite decent. It's quite decent. No, I think
Yeah.
definitely we have some amount of traction that's there. And folks, this is what the content that I was talking to you about is solo camping in Australia. So go by 4x4 is of course in Australia. Solo car camping with Ted, right? Ted is the dog again. Relaxing camping trip. So I think these keywords are perfect. Like I think
Yeah.
if you do an SEO on camping, solo, rain, ASMR, I can bet you that Go 4x4 will be the first few ones to pop up.
Yeah.
So clearly some very interesting content here. Shubham, this one is something we found during our
Wow.
pre-chat as well. Talk to
Yeah.
me about this, right? Because
This
this is just
is
something that we
amazing.
haven't seen. Yeah,
So this essentially means that out of 100 people, almost 13 people are ready to buy whatever
yeah,
Eugene is going to show you in the video, or it's trying to sell you. This is amazing. This is like, to see this number in double digits is wonderful. I hope
exactly.
Eugene sees this. I hope he knows
Yeah,
this because this is
exactly.
really interesting. And look at the positive number of comments. Positive. I'll count neutrals as well because not all the time we tell other people that we like them, right? So I'll say
Right.
95% people like him, and of course there are going to be some complainers. But this is amazing, man. This is by far the best
By
intent to
far the
buy.
best we've seen, right? Because
Yeah,
clearly this is a man who has not ruffled too many wrong feathers, right? Like he is not pissed off anybody. "Kare, how can you say this?" Or "Oh, I did not like
yeah.
your video." This guy's solo camping. How can you have a problem with someone who's like alone in a
Sitting
like you
by
might feel
himself.
pity.
Yeah,
Yeah, sitting myself. So intent to buy folks is again, so it might seem like, oh, it's only 13 or like 12.75%, might not seem like much. But trust us, we have seen creators mostly sub two digits, right? Like they're mostly like their 5s and 7%. But with a 12.7% intent to buy,
yeah.
and it can only go up. I think this is really, really healthy, Shubham. So
You
clearly,
multiply it by
master.
480K, right? He's getting
Exactly.
480K views per video. You multiply and you have
Exactly.
your number.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see Patagonia. selling some of their for
Yeah,
each video at least one or two,
jackets.
trousers or jackets, or the puff jackets being sold. And look at this,
Yeah,
right? Like, this is another great sign, Shubham. Subscribers have gone quite healthily. They've,
steadily well. Yeah, yeah,
steadily they've gone. So of course we're looking at a trend from September 2023 to January is when we're recording this.
yeah.
So they've gone up. Likes, of course, there was a. I wonder why this was the
It's
case.
always
Like,
a curve like this. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
always
always
a
a curve
curve,
like this in terms of likes.
but
Yeah.
exactly. But it's also healthy, I would say. Like, it's nothing too major. Look at this,
But
Shubham. Right,
yeah,
this is a bit
this
of
is where the
a.
ball drops.
This is where
Yeah.
the ball drops. Why do you think so, though? Can you just explain to our viewers why you think so?
Because Patagonia is a premium brand, right? They're
Yeah,
selling their jackets, $400 jackets, $200, track pants. Nobody in India, Indonesia, Russia, Brazil has capacity to buy those things.
sure,
Only
sure,
United States, which is the second, I think 10.4%. So I think this is where Patagonia would, be reluctant to work with them, because there is no
sure.
point in working with him, because 82% are male, but they are from different countries that don't have enough, let's say, to spend on a track pant and be to feel sorry about themselves while feeling great, like Patagonia.
You said it. You said
So
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a no match,
Hmm.
no match this time.
It's a no match. Yeah, I mean, I was also thinking as to how much of this can be, redeemed. That okay, 10.4 is from the US, but then again, like, then it gets too little, right? Because first is India and third is Indonesia. It's not like, okay, we have first is
Yeah,
India, which is the largest chunk, and then you have a
then
UK,
yeah, then
then
the
you have a
Western
Germany,
countries. Yeah,
then the Western countries. But Indonesia and India, clearly they don't have the purchasing power that the US
yeah,
possesses, right? So I
yeah.
think that is, as you mentioned, you know, Turkey is here, Philippines
None
is
of these
here,
countries have,
right?
the purchase power.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
Then we have Australia and United Kingdom are lagging behind, right? So they're not
yeah.
even in the
No,
top
no
five,
point.
let's say. Right,
Yeah.
right. So Indians, folks, please let us know in the comment, why do you like Go 4x4 so much? Like watching his videos and like consuming his content. I'm very
They won't like
intrigued
him
by
if
this as well.
he. They won't like him if he starts endorsing Patagonia. By the way.
Yeah, perhaps, because like we don't want this greenwashing, you know.
Yeah.
Then let's have a look at their at
Hmm.
Eugene or Go by 4x4's this thing. Again, I would say a healthy chunk, right, which is 18 to 24.
Yeah. This makes
Um,
sense. Like, see,
yeah,
these two pillars represent, the angst of a generation which can't go to, outdoors, wilderness, camp. So it's like people like us who are living a vicarious life. So yeah.
vicarious life. Yeah, no, that's a great point actually, and I think, again, if I were Patagonia, I'd be like, okay, this is great, because I understand people from 18 to 24, they do not have the disposable income to
Yeah.
spend on a Patagonia, right? Like, of course, their parents might buy them something for a college, like, if they're hiking in the summers and whatnot. But I really find this to be positive that we have a 40% on Patagonia, for the 25 to 34 range. So that itself is a great age range where people have that disposable income. People want to, they're still healthy, like they're not in their 40s and 50s where outdoors living is a bit of a stretch. So
Yeah.
I think that is healthy, but again,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
But
Shubham, the
coming
geography is pulling
Correct.
around.
Because the people who are watching this of this age, they don't have the luxury of finding that kind of wilderness in their countries. In
Correct.
India, in Indonesia, Brazil, you can't just go camp, anywhere, security reasons, many
Yeah,
socioeconomic reasons. So it's
yeah,
more like an aspirational channel. People are just looking for experience, which
that's
they
a
won't
great
have in
point.
their lives in their countries. It's not about
That's a
the
great
track
point.
pants. It's not about anything he's wearing. It's just about what he's doing.
I will have to give it to you on that. I did not actually think about that aspect, that it's a aspiration which which is there for this thing, and they don't really care about, okay, that there's a
Yeah,
Patagonia thing. They just love the sounds and the, and,
correct.
and to his credit, like, he shoots it beautifully. Like, I would really
Oh, yeah.
recommend folks to
Very
check
soothing.
out this channel, because the way it's shot solo, but where he places his camera, where he does a bunch of these things, highly recommended. So do check it out, folks. But
Yeah.
now on to the next creator, Shubham.
Yeah.
Another very interesting one, I would say, because she is someone who's a traveler. She's documenting her. I love her bio, so I'll share her screen as well for her inside IQ.
So
So let's
let's
just
see if we are second time lucky, because first one was not a match. So yeah.
exactly. First one was not a match, Shubham. So let's actually look now at. Sorelle Amore or Soler Amore if you're in a if you're in that mood. But yeah, so I love first of all her DP itself, right? Which is,
Yeah,
she's behind
very
the
pure
pyramids of,
vibes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're the Egypt that's behind her, and I can see that. Like I can almost slap the Patagonia logo on the on the display
Yeah,
picture,
yeah. Vibe
and
is
like
so cool,
nothing would.
no? I mean,
Vibe is very
Patagonia
cool,
vibe.
very Patagonia vibe, very ethereal. And again, although she might not look very outdoorsy in this picture, I would say, but it's definitely something that I can totally see her as a influencer on
Yeah.
Patagonia. Let's have a quick cheat sheet at her numbers, Shubham. Look at the views, which is a drastic
Hmm.
drop, a
Yeah.
drastic drop from from Go 4x4 and Eugene. 1.02 million subscribers, which is great. Engagement rate is quite poor. um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Point 10 is nothing
Point
great.
one zero is it's very less. I mean,
Yeah,
we
it
just
is
saw
quite
like in
less.
comparison to what, yeah, Eugene.
Exactly. Exactly. 19.885 0.85K average views per video. Not the
Yeah.
best, and clearly a big drop that we've seen. Average likes is
Yeah.
about 1,000. And this, I think, Shubham, just to give a flavor to everybody of what Sorel is all about, like, she does a lot of, it's a lot about herself. And I think I could almost see her, the
Yeah.
reason why we selected her as well, that I could see a lot of Patagonia in her, because she speaks a lot about, liberty and freedom, and like, just being, again, minimalist and plastic free. So this video is actually something that I
Yeah.
did want to mention, because, she wanted to be a minimalist. She wants to be plastic free, and a lot of her ideals, a lot of her motives are aligning. So I think that's where we have, as compared to Go 4x4, perhaps not so much, because again, he's not vocal about anything because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just
Correct.
text. But with Sorel, I do find a lot of similarities when it comes to
Yeah.
this plant-based living
She
and a bunch of these
she
things.
is an activist. Yeah, she's an
Yeah,
activist, and
full on.
the way Patagonia is trying to position themselves
Yeah,
is also, trying to find people like her as their target customers, because
sure,
they are followed by a very dedicated bunch of activists who believe
sure,
in their, let's say, any issue that they are, raising their voice against, like
absolutely,
plastic or body shaming or fat shaming, anything. So
absolutely.
it makes sense. And I mean, you're giving us a glimpse of comments analysis, so we can
Yes,
see a lot of positives there. It is
a lot of positives there.
6.5. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah,
And intent to buy is, I would say, it's a bit on the lower side, but it's not too bad either.
it's not too bad. It's not too bad. 2.53% as
Yeah.
an intent to buy is, again, and folks, this is what we were speaking about Go 4x4, was how different that was and how crazy good that was, because that was at 12, right?
Yeah.
12.75. And here we have 2.53, which is, again, a bit on the lower side. So we have clearly the intention to buy is lower than Go 4x4, but okay, you have a
Yeah.
good audience sentiment, which honestly I thought that it might just be lower, to be frank with you, because
Yeah, I
of
also
the
thought so.
style.
Correct.
Yeah, but I mean, good for Sorel and good for Patagonia, perhaps. Again, slightly, if you just look at the numbers, the whole numbers here, we're starting
Yeah.
off from September at 1.03 million, and then we have about, now it's at 1.02 million. So
Loss.
again,
Yeah, loss of
not a very
subscribers.
drastic drop, but there has been a sizable
Yep.
chunk which has been lost out. But at the same
Yeah.
time, likes have been growing, right? There's again that curve that we
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
speak about when it comes to likes growth. So that's been
You know what?
going
One
down.
thing, Shri, I would
Yeah,
give one feedback about Inside IQ. If
yeah,
the developers are hearing,
yeah.
we should see a bigger map in terms of
Sure,
timeline, not just 5 months, right? Because it's always
agreed.
the hockey curve. It should. I'm sure it's going to be much more interesting if it's much wider.
Agreed, agreed. I think that is definitely a point to note here, because September to Jan we have the numbers, but if let's say we
Yeah,
had numbers from 2021,
for 1 year. Yeah, yeah.
or like
2021.
a
Yeah,
one
correct.
year, I think that would be super. So hopefully that comes through soon. But for now, as we observe it, subscribers are hovering around the 1 million mark, which is again not too bad. Let's not discount the
Not too
fact that
bad.
it's not too bad.
Yep.
All right, then look at this. This is again a very interesting part. Gender distribution,
Yeah. Wow.
72% are female,
Female.
72%, right, which is quite high. And I love this, Shubham. I think this is where Sorel really takes the cake for me. US,
Yeah, yeah.
Canada, UK,
In, yeah, UK,
enough
India,
said, and
Philippines.
India,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So I think automatically, although of course your average views per video are lower, but a US having 31% is great. Canada second and third, and
And it's about
UK being
females.
third. It's about
Yeah, yeah.
females. So if you're Patagonia, if you're launching a new jacket exclusively for women, I think, or a bag, let's
Sorel is
say,
your,
like
yeah,
Sorelle is the
influencer.
person.
Yeah,
Sorelle is your go-to person,
yeah.
right? Because her grasp on, let's say, if I were to draw an archetype from here, and we'll of course go to the age as well, so that'll further help us draw that persona or the ideal customer, is a female from the US who's, let's say, let's go to the age now, who's in the age range of 18 to 24,
Wow.
right? So somebody who's young, somebody who's perhaps
55%.
55%, right? So perhaps a more affluential Gen Z person, right? Like who's like, okay, I'm going to Harvard, and I'm very, I really believe in the cause of this.
Yeah,
I think she can really be a big pioneer for this crowd, right? That, okay, you know what,
yeah.
I
They
choose
can,
Patagonia.
yeah, they can have a lot of people who are into exchanging clothes, because Patagonia is
Yeah,
also into that, right? They organize events
exactly.
where they exchange old clothes. So I think this age group is really good for that.
Really good for them, right? So I think, again, we did speak about how it might not be the most affluent, but given the demographics here of somebody from the US, a female from the US, I
Yeah,
think this can work, right? Especially if Patagonia
this
themselves
can,
want to attack this group and want to target this group. So that is then of course we
absolutely.
have 25 to 31st also at a healthy 30%, right? Like it's not
Yep.
nothing too low there. So great. So Shubham, we have these two creators. We've spoken a lot about them. If you were to give me uh, a final verdict, right? If you're sitting again, we're
Yeah,
at the Patagonia headquarters. You have your New Year's monies that you have to spend on influencer marketing. Who would you
yeah.
give it to? Would it be Go 4x4, or would it be Sorel?
We are matchmakers, right? So
Yeah.
first of all, we have to say it's a match made in heaven with Sorel. It's a
It's a match made on
no-brainer.
earth.
And you made an incorrect statement there. If you have
Yeah.
money, they're not going to give money to
All right.
influencers. They don't.
Sure. They don't give money.
They're
My
just going
bad.
to give you
No,
good
no money.
vibes.
Good.
Yeah.
Vibes are the payment, as they say.
So yeah, and Sorel can match those vibes pretty well. And
Right.
yeah, for Go 4x4, it's not going to work because, of course, he's a white
Sure.
man. Patagonia mentions on their website, and I'm reading
Right.
that we are a white led outdoor company reliant on
Okay.
recreation on stolen native lands that are not safe for all. So they're not very enthusiastic about white men at this point in time.
I think we can rest our case here.
Yeah,
We've decided who is going to be the influencer. Clearly, it is Soel, but again, Go 4x4 also does some great content. So perhaps if the geography and if the color of his skin weren't an issue, then things could have been a bit different, perhaps.
yeah,
But yes, that's been it from this episode, folks, of influencer matchmaking. It's been a really fun one again because we've spoken about two interesting creators, such diverse opinions and the way they go about things, and even the content offerings, right? And Patagonia, of course, being the brand that it is, we have spoken, Shubham and I have spoken a lot about this brand and these two creators. So tell us in the comments below, who do you think should get the influencer of the year for Patagonia, not being paid in cash but in vibes? Should it be Sorel? Should it be Go 4x4? Or can it be a third person? Can you recommend us a third person who you think can be a great fit for Patagonia, the brand? Do check out Inside IQ, which is also in the description. And yeah, if you have any other feedback, let us know in the YouTube comments, and subscribe to our
yep.
channel if you haven't already. More than 13,000 people have, so you should too. We will be back next week with another episode of Influencer Matchmaking. I'm Shreevar.
I'm Shubham.
We will see you next week. Bye bye.